Hi, I'm Jerry Barmash. And as Major League Baseball starts anew, I'm joined today by veteran sportscaster Dave Sims, who's embarking on his second season as Yankees radio play-by-play announcer. Dave, thanks for joining me today on Here Now the News.
Very welcome, Jerry. Enjoyed your work over the years, man. How you doing? Nice to meet you.
Oh, thanks. Thanks so much. Appreciate that. Well, let me tell you, as spring training it gets going for the players, what is it like for you in the broadcast booth?
Yeah, you try to work ahead. I know. Let's see. We're doing tonight. We're doing our fourth of 7 games, and like a month ago, I'm constantly reading stuff and watching everything, watching MLB Network. But I have my own little methodology where I have to have a one sheet in front of me with just some particulars on each, as many starters as possible, and just accumulating that kind of information is what I've been doing. But I've been in a baseball frame of mind for a long time, so it's ready to rock and roll.
Well, I have to ask you, as we get going with the season, a little preview for the Yankees after falling short in the 2025 postseason.
Well, people seem to forget they were a hell of a good team last year. They couldn't beat Toronto, couldn't beat some of the other teams that made the playoffs, but they still won 94 games, tied with Toronto for the most wins in the American League, and third in all of baseball. 94 wins. The top total was 96 by the Phillies. It's not too shabby. No. They got Cole coming back at some point, whether it be late May, early June, or who knows. Hopefully they don't rush it. Or maybe if they do rush it, maybe he must be feeling really good. But you got him, you got Max Fried, you got Carlos Rodon coming back in early May. Schlittler has evolved into a heck of a starter. The bullpen, if that firms up in the early guys in the bullpen, I think you find with Bednar at the back and Doval at the probably in the eighth inning. It's a good team. It's a good team, and so I expect playoffs, and I expect them to get deep.
You expect the Yankees to get beat?
Deep.
Oh, deep. I'm sorry. Big difference.
Huge difference. Yeah, no, man. They got a chance. Like I said, it's a good team. They got a chance to make a run. And they should. It's their window. That window is there. Judge is still trying to win a championship. He was the best in baseball last year. Fried won more games than anybody. There's a lot of positive things. There's some things that need to be shoring up. Can Volpe come back and play better than adequate shortstop? How does Caballero hold the fort for the first month? Can McMahon's a great glove guy at third? Can he hit? Struggling here in training. And I've said on the air, working with Susan Waldman, I said if he could just hit 240 with 15 to 20 home runs to go along with that great glove, you're going to really have something. Another question: Trent Grisham signed a qualifying offer, comes back at 22 mil. I thought he had a heck of a season. I don't care what the defensive metrics say. I thought he had a good season defensively, and offensively, it speaks for itself. So, a lot of good things to talk about.
And again, for every team as you start the season, it's always, brand new and everything is positive. But especially.
Yes, it's positive in this because it's legit. Again, 94 wins is 94 wins. I know friends of mine who would kill to have 94 wins and make the playoffs and made the run in it. So, and having been in Seattle, where I only made the playoffs once during my tenure, this is really good. All right, I had like 3-4 near misses in the last. Like either in the last week or the last day or the last day, been making the playoffs in Seattle. I know a good team when I'm looking at it, and again, the numbers for themselves.
On a personal level, is the Yankee gig, as we say, you're starting your second season with the Yankees, is that like the pinnacle of sportscasting? Is that a dream job for you?
Well, I don't dwell on it, but yeah, it's the most renowned franchise in North America, one of the top 2 or 3 franchises in the world. So yeah, heck yeah. As a kid, I grew up watching the Yankees during the World Series every year. It seemed like late 50s and the early 60s, early mid 60s. I never really envisioned, that I'd land here as I got older and things, you're in the business, you hear things, you see things, maybe I got a shot, but I didn't dwell on it, and then boom, it happened. So, do I, and I get asked this all the time, do I walk around thinking that, wow, I got my dream job? My situation, my story is, I love this job. I loved the job when I was with the Mariners, and I get excited every day for a baseball game. I do my prep. I get, try to talk to guys and be ready, come in with some enthusiasm, let's rock and roll.
And that seems to be your style, right? I mean,
Oh,
everybody has a little
absolutely.
enthusiasm, but for you, and I think enthusiasm is really one of your keys.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't love what I love this job. I talk to hundreds of kids all the time. Kids send me, tapes to critique. I think that's the one thing that, especially in baseball, uh, on TV and probably more so on radio, if you can't bring the joy of the game, you need to find another line of work. All right, I think about the 162 games and however many games they're doing preseason and exhibition season. Um, During the off season, I think, wow, how did I get through it? But you know how I get through it? I take a little time off and I go do some basketball. I do, like this year I did 9 basketball games, not like the old days when I did 50 or 60. But I mean, I love the game. I mean, I was exposed to it as a kid growing up in Philly. 15-minute walk from County Mac Stadium when I was a kid. My father was a huge sports fan. We went to see everything. I mean, I got to see Wilt Chamberlain on a regular basis. I got to see the Eagles on a regular basis. The Eagles, Warriors then, and the Eagles, Warriors, and Phillies. I mean, that was my jam, man. And I played all through high school and played into college. So, I mean, I love baseball.
You were saying about people sending you to critique air checks. Do you go out of your way to mentor any future sportscasters?
I will. It's interesting that I like the way you put that. Go out of my way. It just happened. I think the fact that I'm out here, people see me. They see me on social media. I know for young black broadcasters, and just like I looked up to Bill White, I looked up to all the Scully and Lindsey Nelson, all the greats, and especially Bill White because somebody looked like me. And I get some of that now. But also, the majority of the guys that I hear from, the guys that are in college at Arizona State, Northwestern, Southern Cal, Syracuse to a lesser extent, Fordham, usually, white suburban kids that want to get into the business. And I say, hey, I'm a big fan of your work, and could you take a listen and send me a critique? I don't charge anything. I think once I retire, I probably will turn it into a business venture. But right now, it's the love of the game, and try to just pay it forward.
Well, you said once you retire. I know you have a 2-year contract. This is the second of those 2 years. Do you hope to extend it and stay longer here?
Absolutely. Yes, indeed. Knock wood, thank God. I stay healthy. I want to do this at least another 3 years. So we'll see how that happens. I think, I thought I had a heck of a year last year, and this year's going to be even better. And yeah, I would love to take another 2 to 3 years for sure. Yeah. Again, knock wood, thank God, man. Things are going well. So I keep it rolling,
You don't sound. I know your age. I don't know if you give it, but you don't sound it at all.
Hey, my wife is always on me. I'm a proud 73. I'm a baby boomer. I enjoy life. I'm married to a good woman. It'll be 44 years this fall. Two sons are grown. They're both married. One of them has 2 kids. Another one's working on it. So. Remember the old SNL bit, Chico Escuela, baseball been very, very good to me. So, I mean,
well, that keeps you young too, right?
Dad, absolutely.
Family, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I've been a jock all my life. So, I just got back, I went down, did a quick workout, 25 minutes on a bike, throw some weight around a little bit, eat right. I'm eating better probably than I ever have. And my weight's good. I was 249 back in 2012. I'm about 208 now, so I feel great.
Wow, that's great. I want to ask you. You're back on The Fan in New York here, 660. Is it a full circle moment for you, having been on The Fan, WFAN, and even before that on the frequency on WNBC?
Yeah, I mean, no parades, no free subway rides, but yeah, it's nice to be back. I mean, the crew, the most of the folks, I think Susan and I are probably easily the 2 most veteran people I think still on the air there. Other guy like Mako's retired, Eddie Coleman, and I had a great 2.5, 3 years doing middays with Eddie, one of the great guys in the business, great guys, period. He's retired. Chris Russo still working. Francesca does a podcast. No, it's nice to be back. I mean, it's a totally different generation. Nice people. And I'm back full circle with FAN, and it's certainly the most renowned and the first sports station. I was pretty proud of the work I did at WNBC, doing WNBC Sports Night. I worked with Mike Breen, who's now in the Basketball Hall of Fame. Dom Trignali and a lot of really good people there at NBC. So yeah, it's great to be back in New York. I love Seattle. Still have a lot of friends out there. Look forward to the visit. We play them in our second series of the year. When we open in San Francisco, go there for Seattle. So I'm looking forward to seeing those folks, and that's where I am.
And when was that Sports Night? That was mid 80s, right?
March 3rd, 86, October 4, 88.
Wow. So you're talking 40 years. Wow, amazing.
And before that, I was at the Daily News for 7 years. So I've been in New York a long time, and I did a little bit. I was in Philly for a year. At NBC Philly, and I knock wood, thank God, I'm having a great run. I did Coach K's show on Sirius XM, 18 years on Westwood One during NFL, college football, NCAA tournament, and ESPN, baseball, football. So it's I wanted to be a fireman, I think, early on, like every little kid wants to in the first couple of years. And then, being around sports all the time. And, would I've liked to have been a major leaguer? Yeah, hell yeah, who wouldn't? But I'll never forget somebody, I wish I could remember who it was, but somebody when I was in high school said, well, you're really good at this. Probably not going to make it to the pros. Less than 1% of the guys make it. Write about it. Be in the media. I was like, good idea. And I ran with it.
That's a different avenue to take. Yeah. Since you're from Philadelphia, but you've been in New York an awful lot, do you think the fans have adopted you as a New Yorker?
Oh hell, I've been here since 1975, and people of our age know who I am, and I'm hearing from even now. We're down here in Tampa. Going into the ballpark, hey Dave, hey, welcome back. Good to see you. Glad I listened to you at NBC. Yeah, that was part of the appeal in coming back. It was the Yankees. It was coming home, being closer to family. Home games are really home games, and road trips are a hell of a lot shorter.
We'll get right back to the podcast. But first, I want to tell you about my book, Here Now the News. I spoke to dozens of industry professionals for a fun look at the TV news business in New York. Here Now the News is entertaining and enlightening, with dozens of stories about the legends who delivered the news night after night. Pick up your copy on Amazon, available in paperback, Kindle, and my own narrated audiobook version. And you also did sports on channel.
Yeah. I was full time at Channel 2, 95 to 98, and let's see. It was great when I was at WNBC. So I'm in 30 Rock, and when you get when you get exposure and people like your work, I got lined up to do filled in for Len, Marv, and Sal at Channel 4.
Wow.
And I got NBC Sports had the Olympics. I did track and field sideline reporting from the '88 Olympics in Seoul. So, if people, they see your work and if they like you, hey, come on over. So, in that kind of career, and I am enjoying the heck out of it.
Yeah, I got to know Len after he left Channel 4. I got to know him and interview him several times. I had him in my book. I did a book a couple of years ago about the history of the New York TV anchors. Here Now the News, which is an homage to Roger Grimsby's line.
Sure.
So
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Talked about Chuck and Sue and stuff. Did you model yourself after any sportscasters?
That's a good question. There was a guy in Philly who, oh my goodness, Bill Campbell, and he goes back when he was breaking into the business. One of his great get interviews was with Connie Mack, the Connie Mack, and I read that in his bio. And I think the local guy that really took notice of, he was on the Eagles on radio, and they wanted to see, was backed out fill it with TV and listen to it on the radio, shoveling snow the day after Christmas. I'll never forget that. I would say that he probably is as big an influence as anybody. And then, you take little things here and there from a lot of guys. I mean, favorite. I mean, I could the roster of guys I looked up to. It starts with Vin Scully, Dick Enberg, Charlie Jones, Pat Summerall, Marv Albert, Sal Marciano. I mean, I could go. A bunch of national players. Ray Scott, who did the Packers on radio. I mean, Dick Stockton. There's a whole bunch of guys that I looked up to and probably took a little piece here, and fit it into my personality. But it certainly wasn't a thing where I said, I'm going to be this guy. And I tell kids this all the time, especially, I know early on when I was doing this critiquing, evaluating guys' tapes and whatnot, you'd hear the New York guys trying to be Marv Albert. I was like, dude, no. Yes, it counts. I mean, everybody can,
right.
I grew up listening to Marv.
Yeah.
And Marv was very good to me. We became friends and professional friends, and made a few calls on my behalf during the course of my career. And good guy, really good guy. But yeah, that probably encompasses it. But I think Bill Campbell's enthusiasm on the Eagles broadcast, and then later the Phillies and the 76ers. I think that might have been a foundational guy, but I've been influenced by a lot of guys.
I was covering Sports Phone. I think I was at Sports Phone, and I left the game or whatever, covered, waiting at the the auxiliary elevator, the media elevator, and I wait for the elevator. It's taking a while, and then Marv shows up, and he's got his like a briefcase, like an attaché case with papers flying out of it. And he comes over very quietly and he says, did you call for the elevator? And I'm thinking, and it takes a split second in my head. It's like an hour. And I go, yes, and he's, oh yeah, this endeared him. He doesn't know me, and I'm like, okay. And then two other people come in so he can talk to them in the elevator. And that was my, like on Letterman used to do my brush with fame or something.
Mm-hmm. Brush with greatness. Yeah.
Your versatility, as we said, I mean, you've done also NFL, Westwood One, you've done college basketball. Any moments, I'm sure there are several, any that stand out throughout your career?
Oh, there's a heck of a lot. I mean, George Mason beating UConn #1 seed in 06 to get to the Final Four. Billy Hernandez throwing a perfect game in 2012, August of 2012. Cal Raleigh hitting a home run to clinch a Mariner playoff berth for the first time in 20-something years. Been a bunch of NFC and AFC championship games. I don't remember specifics anymore, but I mean, Philip Umber threw a perfect game. We were doing a B-net game on Fox, and the game was only going to Seattle and Chicago until and then it came to us for the last 3 outs. So that was on national TV. That was pretty cool. That was April 2012. And there was like 3 or 4 other no-hitters we called. There was a combined no-no that the Mariners threw against the Dodgers. Sashi Iwakuma threw a no-no. We had John Means throw one against us with Baltimore. So, yeah, there have been some great moments. A lot of great college basketball games, Big East games. Whew. Michael Vick, when he was in college, watching him, like he was electric. He looked like he was playing a video game, and everybody else was walking in concrete. I mean, just sensational. Yeah, I've been very, very lucky in that regard.
Wow. And I'm sure now, we said before about the Yankees and, dream job, and it's not, but it is. How about calling a Yankee World Series? Is that something that would just be, the icing, the cherry on top?
Oh, well, I've been looking for call a World Series game for this is my 20th consecutive year doing Major League Baseball. Every year, that's the goal. That's the aim. And heck yeah, what I love it with the Yankees. I told Darren Judge last year, I think, I want to say it was the first time we went into Toronto and wound up getting smoked. I said, hey man, I didn't leave Seattle for you guys not to make the playoffs and not win a World Series. Come on now. And he looked at me and laughed, and we had a laugh about that. So,
by the way, I have to show my Sure, of course.
There you go. The Yankee fan since when? Since you could walk and talk, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. My mother was a Yankee fan, and I was a Yankee fan, and we would watch like playoff games, and we would like cover each other's eyes and during like playoff or World Series games.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I go back to the '70s, so I remember when. Luckily, I got into it just as they started to win.
Yeah.
76, 77, 78.
I still remember 58 when they came back from down 3-1 to beat Milwaukee after being up 3-1 the year before and losing. I remember getting home from grade school just in time to see Mazeroski's home run in 60. They swept the Reds in 61. I remember Bobby Richardson's snag of the Willie McCovey bullet in 62. Koufax shoving it on them in 63. All of I mean, the Yankees are so, who knew, it's just unbelievable to think that, I'm doing the Yankees and I remember all of that stuff as a kid and they were like, and the Phillies couldn't win anything. They let the 1950 WizKids team get old and never really, worked in new blood or anything. And they went terrible. They weren't any good till 64. The trauma of 64 up 6.5 with 12 to play, the Phillies, and I'm thinking I'm going to watch a World Series game. It doesn't happen. So yeah, I mean I have unbelievable memories. Childhood, playing baseball, board games, dice games, you name it. Pickup games, half ball in Philly, stick ball, the whole thing. I mean it's a big part of who I am.
Obviously, you didn't grow up as a Yankee fan. But I guess you had respect for them, right?
Well aware. I mean, holy grapes. I mean, everything began and ended with them, and you had to respect them. You had to admire them. And then later on, when I was at the Daily News, we played some media games, and I was on the same field with Whitey, Yogi, Billy Martin, Piniella, Stick Michael, what was that? Oh, God. He managed the 85 Kansas City. Dick Hauser, I think it was. And just to get to interact with those guys was really something special. And to be in the second, not this Yankee Stadium, the one that was reopened in 76, but, you go to home plate and you're going to stand in left-hand hitter's box. Wow, Ruth and Gehrig. Over and Mantle, and I go over to the right-hand hitter's box. It's like Mantle and all the great Jackie Robinson was here. So I'm big into the history and as the old book title, The Glory of Their Times. I'm into it.
And do you enjoy? I get the sense like you with fans, you really enjoy engaging like on social media.
Yeah, why not? I mean, I got a question a lot from people in my circle. People. I take the subway to work, take to and from, and people say anything to you is, "Hey man, people are going to work. They don't care. I'm just another black guy carrying a bag on the subway, and they're not stopping to talk about Yankee baseball. All right, I'm another working guy just like them." As the season went along, and the Yankees were having, we're starting to getting closer to the playoffs. When I'd get off the subway and walk, as you walk up Babe Ruth Plaza to get to the media gate, guys would stop and that kind of stuff. And I wound up talking to a couple of guys. One guy was an usher, another guy was some retired guy. And it was great. I love talking to retired guys and all. And, I could say what's talking about old school baseball, even stuff before I was born, because I consider myself a little bit of a baseball historian. So, yeah, I like interacting with the fans and even down here walking out. Hey, what do you got? What do you say? What do you know? What's going on? That kind of stuff. I mean, you got to, I enjoy it.
Heading back to New York soon, and opening night coming up.
Yeah, we got so today is Friday, so we got a game Sunday, the last game here. Then we go to Arizona for 2, and Wednesday is going to be upon us, man. Wednesday against the Giants, Max Fried starts against Logan Webb. Man, hell of a pitching matchup. So we're there Wednesday, I think off day Thursday, play Friday, Saturday, off day Sunday, which is really weird. That would not happen, but Netflix, as you know, paid several king's ransoms to to have the exclusive window
right
on Wednesday the 25th, and then we go to Seattle for like 3.5, 4 days. before we come home.
And that's always fun going back to Seattle too, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, that'll be good. That'll be good. I get to see my son and my daughter-in-law, and catch up with friends from the Marin organization and some fans back there. Gonna be fun.
Well, you said about interacting with everybody, and for me, it was a treat to interact with you for a little while.
My pleasure.
It's exciting, great to meet you, and good luck. And I hope this is the year you get the World Series.
Amen, amen, brother.
Let's talk after the season if you do.
Oh, that'll be. That's the hope. That's the aim. That's why for the love of the game, you not only you love the game, but in this circumstance, with a great chance to win, you want to get it over the line. You want to get it done. Jerry, thanks, man. I appreciate you
so much.
You're welcome. All right, take care of yourself.
Take care. Dave Sims, the great Dave Sims, joining the Yankees for the second season as their play-by-play announcer. And if you have any suggestions for joining me on Here Now the News, you can send me an email at herenowthenewsjb@gmail.com. And we'll see you next time on Here Now the News.